Hi, I'm Tom. Welcome back to my series of QuakeCon Duel Grand Final reviews. We're here with 2010 Cypher vs. Cooler, one of my all-time favorite Grand Finals. This is the game that I watched live back in 2010 that made me go from a free-for-all and clan arena scrub. It made me sit down and say, I actually want to learn this game, I want to learn how to duel, and I want to get better. So, you know, into the 10 plus years since then, I've played a hell of a lot of games, so it worked. And I always love revisiting this grand final and looking at the matches that really lit the spark inside me to understand this game better. Cypher versus Cooler, you know, two of the best players of all time. We missed the grand final that Cooler played in. It was 2006, the Quake 4 grand final. I couldn't get it working, so we didn't watch it, but Cooler has appeared in a grand final before. This is a second grand final appearance. And Cooler's probably, you know, one of the best players that we barely see in this series. On the other hand, we have Cypher. In the 2008 video, I said that 2008 was the first QuakeCon he attended. That was incorrect. He actually came 5th at QuakeCon 2006. But here, his second grand final appearance as well, and he's gunning to be the second person ever to win more than one QuakeCon grand final. This is the deciding map. In a best of 5, this one comes down to the 5th map. Cypher winning 2, Cooler winning 2, and let's see what happens here off of these spawns on Blood Run. You know, the classic Eastern European training map. These guys are absolute masters of it, so I'm looking forward to seeing it, and Cypher messes up right off the start, okay? When you spawn above rockets there, you don't jump across to rockets. That's Quake 101. But we're on stage here in the deciding map of a huge grand final, and sometimes mistakes do happen. So Cypher gives up a frag off the start, and limps out the gate. Cooler, he collects Mega, he collects Red, he has everything right now. Cypher is just gonna have to play quiet, he's gonna have to play cautious. These demos, by the way, are spectator point of view, so we might jump around randomly. These were the demos, I believe, that were taken by King. Only surviving footage we have of this grand final. It's insane. But these things happen. Cooler looking to deny this yellow armor. Beautiful rocket onto Cypher. Interesting position for Cooler there to decide if he chases through. If he goes through that teleporter and takes a bad rocket as he goes through, you know, he doesn't have a lot of health, so it can get to be a pretty dicey fight fairly quickly. And Cypher's done well to position himself up at this red armor. He's going to have a hard time jumping across. I like the grenade pressure. You know, any grenade you hit there is perfect. Obviously, Cooler going to be doing his best to dodge them. And nice pressure. Like, Cypher's good at these cheeky little pokes, right? He pokes his head out, he hits a rocket. Cooler's like, that's not great. That Mega's going to come up, and Cypher just wastes enough time that he splits out the items. You know, more than he could have necessarily hoped for. And again, I say this in pretty much every video, but a player who's able to just waste their opponent's time opens doors for themselves. There's one of those random switches I was saying about. They're gonna happen. Cooler looking down towards the LG to try and catch Cypher, you know, sneaking around these defensive positions, and Cooler, he could have his head out here, he could be bold. Instead, he's playing quiet, he's waiting for a sound cue from Cypher to peek out and, you know, make damage, right? Cooler's one frag up, but what's more important to Cooler right now is that, oh, this is going to be annoying. What's more important to Cooler right now, you know, is that he can actually look for opportunities to get this damage and get these frags. Cypher, 100 armor, you know, it's where you want to be. When you're at that 100 margin, oh man, these switches are going to get so annoying. Dan, what were you doing? Dan King had no idea that these were going to be the only surviving demos of this grand final. So he's just like following whatever he wants. He's living his best life. Mega's going to be coming. Cypher's a little bit unsure of it. He takes his yellow armor and runs. Cooler hunting for the damage here. How far away from Mega are we? About 5 seconds. And I actually really like that Cooler drops down here, plays for Mega, makes sure that Cypher can't just be like hiding nearby, and leaves this red up because you can always damage red. Cypher actually comes out from a really unexpected spot. Gonna be hanging around for a rail shot. You know, he's got a decent armor stack now. He feels like he can afford to trade a rail, even, you know, potentially to his disadvantage. And basically no damage exchange. These guys keep their distance. You know, they have a lot of respect for each other. There's a lot on the line here, you know, like thousands of dollars on the line here. Cypher's gonna try and waste Cooler's time until this Mega comes up, right? And again, you can really tell a classy player because they're not afraid to stay in one place for a very long time. Cooler dives in here aggressively. He doesn't want Cypher to get this Mega. Cypher, perfect weapon selection with this LG. Cooler collects the Mega mid-fight. Cypher just does so much damage, right? He's just done like 300 damage with the LG. Cooler backs away onto the red armor. Cypher's going to walk away from that a little bit weaker, but as long as Cooler doesn't get this yellow armor for free, he's pretty much just equalized the game. And so of course Cypher's going to be here to put pressure down. I think this yellow armor's coming, right? 10 seconds away. So I don't think Cooler got it then, right? I don't know. Maybe I got confused. Either way, Cypher's just made a huge equalizing play. Here comes Cooler with the dive. Cooler's rockets are better. Cypher should go down. But Cypher does a lot of damage on the way. And again, that's 2 mega fights in a row where Cooler gets down to basically 0 HP, right? But before taking that mega. So Cypher, he's making good plays, but he just isn't... They're just like such marginal situations where he isn't able to break through, and he's having to rely on these marginal situations because Cooler isn't really giving him a lot of situations to get into the map in other places, right? Cooler's playing smart, he's playing quiet, he's letting Cypher make moves, make sound cues. Really nice drop down there for Cypher. Cooler actually early on that mega gives Cypher a bit of an opportunity. Cypher hanging around for the shot onto this mega. This is always a dangerous place to be. You know, I tend to not like hanging around there too much because I just feel like you always get owned when you're sitting behind that railgun. But again, look at Cypher's stack, right? He's been out of control, you know, Cooler's been trying to set traps for him, and still Cypher is just playing quiet, he's playing careful, and he's getting these yellow armors where they count, and that means that he's able to come and make these plays. Really nice unreturned rail. Again, he picks up for that second shot, and it's such a Cypher thing. You think he's going to take one shot, he actually comes back and takes a second. If any other player does it, it's a mistake. If Cypher does it, it's genius. Cooler very, very cautious. He just wants to, you know, maintain this stack and make sure that he can pick these good opening fights. I love what Cypher's doing here. You know, he's playing these really, really tight angles. He's looking to hit a shot and just disappear. Cypher actually going to come in and go for the LG pin. Perfect anticipation of Cooler. He doesn't get loads of damage, but you're going to take it, okay? Cooler again gets down to this 100 threshold. That is a really nice equalizing moment for Cypher. Cypher's going to be in position for this mega. He needs to watch out for the dive from Cooler. Cooler's surely going to make a play here. And actually, Cooler lets it go. This red's going to be coming as well. Cooler backs away. And now Cypher, off of a few really good rails and that one awesome commitment to come through teleporter and pin Cooler with LG, suddenly driving the map. He's not particularly healthy, but he's in a good spot to get this next red. I like crouching down here. The idea with crouching down at the very edge of that platform is if your opponent comes up, they're going to have to walk pretty much all the way out of the corridor before they see you, and then you're there ready, you swap to LG, you demolish them because they don't have room to dodge. Really, really cool trap. Cooler looks like he's going to position himself down at Mega. And so Cypher's going to jump for red, Cooler's going to look for damage. Cooler doesn't expect this. Cypher dives in perfect timing onto that Mega. Awesome damage. He's got to push this through for a frag, surely. Cooler's done great defensive damage as well, but Cypher needed that frag on the board, you know, crossing the halfway margin of the map. Cooler, with the gauntlet out the teleporter, just completely hits the reset button. Cypher's not going to have any weapons. Cypher spawns on that rail. That might be a decent advantage here. Cypher might be able to catch Cooler if Cooler wants to drop down for it. Cooler picks up the dead rocket launcher. And you've always got to watch this, because right now Cypher, he's trying to trap this rocket launcher pickup, but Cooler has already taken one. Really, really interesting there. Alright, Cypher collects Mega. Red is going to be up shortly, and Cooler, he's got his one frag lead. He doesn't want to take a risk at the fight here. That's really interesting. So Cypher's going to collect red for free. He's going to have a much bigger stack now. And Cooler looks like he's just going to try and make some decent damage. He doesn't want to pick an even fight with Cypher here. Cypher, you know, Cypher's combat skills are absolutely ridiculous. If you can avoid taking a close fight, you should, especially while you're a frag up. So Cypher dominating the item pickups. Cooler really just playing the quiet game, able to get himself onto a red, but not without taking a rail. And again, this is one of those situations. Cypher backs off from that situation, picking up the Mega, right? He just takes it off camera. These point of views are switching all over the place. It's kind of good, right? It kind of gives us an awesome full picture of what's going on. So we know that Cooler gets that yellow. We know that Cypher gets this yellow. Cooler, you know, a major item in a yellow. It's all you can really ask for. Cypher hits a perfect shot. Cooler trying to play the defensive positions here, you know, in these bottom corridors where he can be harder to push, where Cypher can't just come in without taking a lot of rocket damage. And Cypher manages to hit the clutchest rails. Cooler doesn't have a lot of HP. I don't think those 25 bubbles are up for him, right? So he would have been quite weak jumping across for that. Not railable for sure, but off the back of that, yeah, Cypher definitely looking to push in. Maybe Cooler did pick up the HP bubbles there. He will have taken the 50 for sure. So he's got like just over 100 points of armor and 100 health here, I would think. Cypher, 150, 100. Yeah, cool. That's about what I expected to see. Thanks, Dan, for the point of view switch. Cypher, you know, he's really getting to the point of desperation trying to hunt these frags. Catches Cooler getting the red again. Really nice rocket as he drops down. And again, just the fighting and the movement from Cypher there's really classy. He pokes his head in to get a rocket right around that corner, about as deep as you could hope, and then he leaves. Because if you push around that corner, Cooler is going to own you with rockets. So Cypher, you know, really giving him a lot of respect. He knows that he can't afford to die here. Cooler's slowed the map down to an absolute grind. He's playing all of the defensive positions he can. Cypher gets around this corner without taking much damage. He's in Cooler's face. Perfect LG. You know, Cooler hits awesome rockets there, but Cypher got that entrance for free, and that's just so critical. And, you know, Cypher saw what was happening there, able to just push through it and make that frag to tie the game up. 1 minute, Cooler has no weapons to defend himself. Cypher looking towards this rocket launcher. He wants to catch Cooler going for those rockets, right? Because Cooler can't defend himself as effectively without them. The plasma's going to go a long way. Cypher rocket jumps up. Cooler with the plasma. Oh, he doesn't step onto that mega. He knows that, you know, Cypher's kind of pre-firing towards it. Interesting, though. It looks like Cooler probably did have enough HP to get that mega during the fight. But I guess once you're on it, you can kind of get glued in place. Cypher goes for the rocket jump against the LG. Cooler unable to hit enough to stop him, and oh, the trade is so close. That's such a critical drop down from Cypher, because Cooler, I think, could have actually spawned at Rocket. Cypher was one machine gun bullet from death, you know, so if Cooler spawned up near Rocket and just had his crosshair in the right place, all he had to do was click, and Cypher would have died there. Cooler diving across. He's got to make something happen, and Cypher sitting at the bottom of the map with this LG. This is the perfect place to be. He's going to come over to make sure that Cooler can't collect this rocket launcher again. If Cooler goes for this gun, he's going to take damage. It's going to make that push that much harder, but he's got to come over to this position soon. Here comes Cooler. What could be the final push of the game? Cypher goes through the teleporter. Is the chase here from Cooler? Cypher just has to slow it down. And this is it. Cypher is gonna crouch his way into his second QuakeCon Grand Final victory. Absolutely beautiful play. You know, just such a classy game. Cypher, some really nice pushes, some really nice damage. You know, a great series of rails, and then a huge commitment to damaging Cooler at a red armor to flip control back. Cooler, you know, an admirable attempt of playing defensively. Really, in that one situation up at Shotgun, you know, 2 rockets don't connect, and that means that Cypher's able to push through and just commit to being in Cooler's face, right? If the rockets had connected a bit more, Cypher probably would have had to drop down to the yellow armor teleporter and potentially leave the situation, but because he took no damage, he just said, well, I've got bigger stack, I'm going to sit in his face and just hit 100% LG. And that's what blows the game open for him and allows him to come in. So, you know, Cypher reacts to these situations so well. He's so good at opening up damage in a fight while making sure that he has... You know, he's not going to take as much. His fighting skills are disgusting. I love watching him. But yeah, such a classy blood run. Cypher becomes the second person to win 2 QuakeCon Grand Finals. Absolutely huge. And sorry, that actually puts Cypher at the third person to win 2 QuakeCon Grand Finals. First Rix, then 04, and now Cypher. So can Cypher win the third to tie up 04 as the QuakeCon god? We'll have to find out, and I'll see you next time in 2011.